My name's John Flynn. I'm known mostly as Fuller, but my real name is John. So some people call me like my father. So my talk was called Intrusion Along the Kill Chain. And this was on an interesting topic, a talk that I'm very passionate about in the field of defense, which is called intrusion detection. And the premise of my talk was sort of a three-part process. The first part was kind of focusing on the state of the industry, the state of the intrusion detection industry anyway, as it exists today. So I drew upon a couple of data sources, in particular the Verizon Data Breach Report, as well as the Mandiant Trends Report. Both of those reports are really great ways of kind of getting a snapshot of, a quantitative snapshot of where we are as an industry. And one of the things I showed through the analysis of that data was that intrusion detection systems are woefully poor at detecting the modern advanced attacker. And so the data is actually really quite sad. Depending on which data you look at, 5% of the time the intrusion detection systems are detecting these advanced modern attackers versus people randomly looking at logs and stumbling across an attacker, or a system administrator looking at their own data, they're looking at their processes running on their system and somehow stumbling across an attacker. So intrusion detection systems aren't really working in my opinion. So that was kind of the first phase, was to kind of really drive that point home. And then what I tried to do is to take an approach where I tried to go to first principles and kind of build the thing back up to show that even you in your environment, in your enterprise, there's actually tangible things that you can really do to make a difference on intrusion detection. And so one of the things that I talk about is this notion of the event pipeline. So this idea of embracing noisy events as opposed to discarding them out of hand like so many people do. The notion that people going after that event that wakes them up in the middle of the night is actually kind of a mistake. I call it the false positive fallacy. The idea that really you should be embracing the noise. And so the event pipeline is one way to show how you wind these noisy events through and turn them into things that are actually useful. So one of the important parts of that is a phase called correlation. And correlation is something that's been around in the industry for a while. It's not a new concept. But what I did in my third part of my talk was to try to talk about an advanced approach to how to do correlation against these modern threats. And so one of the things I borrowed from my friends at Lockheed Martin was this notion of the kill chain. And actually this is originally something that was in the military domain, the physical military domain, and was brought over to the information security domain by Hutchins, Amin, and Walker at Lockheed. And it's a concept that attacker behavior is actually much more stable when you look at the necessary stages they must go through in order to create an attack. Right? These are stages like reconnaissance, lateral movement, exploitation. Right? So you look at those stages, that actually gives you a handle, a way to actually get your arms around this problem from an intrusion detection standpoint. And so the final footnote in the talk is, you can actually take these noisy events, you can turn them into slightly less noisy events, and then you can take these slightly less noisy events, stack them together, and see them as a holistic possible part of the kill chain, which is, I think, a way that you can get at, one way you can get at approaching modern attackers from an intrusion detection perspective.